The thing about negotiation is that a lot of people see this as a soft skill. I do not see it as a soft skill. I see it as a hard skill. And when I mean hard, I don't mean the economics. When I mean hard, I mean the discipline. Mr. Welch used to say, in GE, being successful is about seeing reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. Reality at all costs. And sometimes that is difficult in negotiation and in difficult conversations. Mr. Stone, Dr. Stone talked about this, I think, a little bit in his conversation. One of the difficulties is that we have is seeing reality in our relationships and in our conversations. One of the hard things is admitting that we have been wrong, that we made a mistake. And in business, and particularly in personal relationships with those that we love, it is very hard to say, I can't say that. I can't say it. I'm sorry, dear, I made a big I can't say it. I was wrong. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. Now, you can even modify it a little bit. If you were not sure you were wrong, and I'm with my wife is here somewhere, and I'm wrong most of the time. It's just, maybe it's a guy thing, I don't know. But you can say, you don't have to say I was wrong, you can say, dear, I may have been wrong. It's quite possible that I made a mistake. You can modify it a little bit. As Mr. Dr. Stone said, the initiative there is, if you read his book, is that it gives permission to the other side to participate in a solution, to participate in taking the next step, rather than talking about why we were wrong or why we were mistaken. It's a very important thing in negotiation, to be able to say, I may have made a mistake, even when you haven't. Now, this works particularly when you're less powerful and the other side is more powerful and is trying to extract concessions. It is okay to say, I may have made a mistake. You are not saying you are wrong. You are not making yourself vulnerable. It is not a position of weakness. You really have no choice. What you're trying to do is test the other side. If in fact it is a tactic, the other side then will continue to attack and say, yeah, you were wrong. You were really stupid. That was a bad thing to do. Here's what I want. Now that gives you information, and now you know how to plan your tactics. What I'm saying here is negotiation is about gaining information from the other party. It's not about defending ourselves or proving that we're right. It's about the acquisition of information. It's the discipline of negotiation. Now, you can try this. I won't necessarily try this, but I'll explain how it works. You can actually use this if you get 4 or 5 bright people together. You can try this little case. It's kind of a mini case. And imagine a situation where you're having lunch one day, and you're having lunch with somebody that you have just met. And it's a beautiful day here in Sao Paulo. And you're having a nice lunch. You're approached by a couple, an older couple, very nicely dressed couple, very sophisticated looking, very open and honest looking, and they have a suitcase, or they have a briefcase, a valise. And they come up to the two of you and they say, oh, you look like such a nice couple. It's a beautiful day here in Sao Paulo. You're having a nice lunch. We have a proposal for you. And you say, yes, what? And they say, today, for you, for the both of you, because we have been very successful in our lives, we'd like to share that success and our lessons of life with you. We have, in this briefcase, $100,000 for you today. $100,000 for you at this moment. Only 2 conditions. First, you must agree on how to split the money. Very simple. And you have 5 minutes to do it. 5 minutes. And so, of course, you agree. $100,000. We were just sitting here having a nice lunch, and all of a sudden, we have the possibility of some money in front of us. You turn to the other person and you say what? 50-50. 50-50. 50 for you, 50 for you. 50 for you, 50 for you. 70 for me, 30 for you. Also, please. I like your tie. It's such a nice tie. You can't see it. It's a perfect combination. 70-30. What do you say?
Why not the opposite?
It's quite the opposite. 70-30 for me? 70-30. 70-30. 50-50. 70-30. Anybody take this deal? Raise your hand if you take that deal. 70 for me, 30 for you. Sir, you would take that deal? 30. You've got it. Sir, what do you do? I'm not sure I can hear you. What do you do? What is your job? You're a what? Huh? Engineer. So you are a rational man, sir. Right? He is the last logical man. Because, sir, you know something apparently that everybody else doesn't know. You know that 30 is better than what? Zero. Because 5 minutes ago I had nothing. I had nada. Zero. Zip. Zilch. Why would I turn that down? Interestingly enough, 68% of the people turn down this deal when you ask them. They turn down $30,000. Now, I don't know what fair is. I don't know if it's 50-50. I don't know if it's 45-55. But the problem is that everybody in here has a fairness calculator running right there, right? And there is something in psychology called equity theory. And equity theory says that the power of fairness is much more important than the difference between $0 and $30,000. If it's not fair, I turn it down. It is also so in negotiation. Be careful of this, because sometimes Dr. Urey, a number of years ago, invented a concept called BATNA. Some of you probably have heard him talk about a BATNA, a best alternative to a negotiated agreement. And what he'll say is that it is the judgment of a BATNA against which what the deal is. And in this case, the BATNA or the alternative is 0. And he would simply say the equation is very simple. If the deal is better than the alternative, I take the deal. I take the $30,000. And this is what this gentleman back here. See me during the break. I'd like to talk to you, sir. Very interesting guy. Now, one more thing about this. If you do something like this in a little training session with your salespeople, here's one thing to remember. Actually, who or what is the first thing that you should say? When this couple approaches you with this $100,000 deal, what should you say? Not how to split the money. Not, oh my gosh, we only have 3 minutes left. You should turn to the owner of the resource and say, oh, it's such a beautiful day here in Sao Paulo. You say to the couple, because the couple have given you the requirement of the time. That is the first place you negotiate, not with your partner, not with the person you're having lunch with. The very first negotiation is with whom? The couple that has the money. He who has the money is the source of the negotiation and the benefits. That is whom you negotiate with first. So you turn to the couple and you say to the man and the woman, it's a beautiful day in Sao Paulo. Why don't you join us for lunch? Just take 30 minutes. Let's talk about this. Let me understand why you're doing this. How much money did they have in the briefcase? They said they were going to give you $100,000. How much was in here? The answer is, I don't know. So you sit down and you say, we have a problem, we have a dilemma. 70-30, 70-30. My poor mama, she needs an operation. This is a gift from God. $70,000 and she will be well again. How could you deny me this? It's not possible. But maybe in the briefcase, there's an extra $20,000 for you. Could we have 120? Could we have 130? We don't know because we didn't ask the question. I find in a lot of negotiations, we're negotiating with the wrong person. Who is the controller and the owner of the benefits? When you take a project from your boss, rather than go negotiate with the customer, ask your boss this question. Does it really need to be done by Friday? Can I only give a 5% discount? What about 4? What about 6? Negotiate first the terms and conditions with the person who is giving you the assignment, the requirements for the negotiation. It's a big problem. People don't think about this. Okay, so I want you, that's the lesson of this particular case here, is who has the money and who controls the time. Pay attention to that.